Hey Thrive Loud listeners, are you down and out during these cold winter months? Is your daily routine getting a little boring? Do you need something that gets you motivated? Well then, get up from what you're doing and get the blood flowing. Hit the gym, go for a hike in the cold, go for a run, do something. And while you're out there, pop in your headphones, load up your podcast app, and get inspired with the amazing content Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond has for you. Us interns at Thrive Loud are working our tails off to pull together these great shows to bring you some incredible content, and you are missing out if you're not listening. Download it, subscribe to it, share the heck out of it on social media. It's great stuff. It's not just about listening. The show is called Thrive Loud, people, so get to it and start thriving as loud as you can by listening to all of these inspiring episodes.
Welcome, everyone, to a special episode of Thrive Loud. I thought I was going to have guests on the show. It turned out the interns said no way. They wanted to take control. So with me today, I have Sophia, Stephanie, Elsie, Alexandra, and Christopher Morales, our social media guru extraordinaire, social media saint as well, all here. And they've said no guests allowed. They're all here. So let's just go around and do a quick intro. Sophia, are you there?
Yes, hello.
What have you been mostly working on here on the Thrive Loud program? Let the listeners understand maybe some of the things that you've been working on.
Yeah, so I have been editing some of the podcast episodes, including a mini-sode as well. And currently I'm working on making a video introduction for Thrive Loud.
It looks pretty good. Let's hop over to Elsie. Elsie, how are you? Introduce yourself to the audience.
Hi, I'm Elsie, and I am currently working on editing the episode and also thinking about the montage episode, like the intro one. Yeah.
All right. So you've been working on intros and montages, all the stuff you're hearing. Alexandra, what have you been working on?
I'm also working on different minisodes and podcasts, and I'm also working on this endorso thing.
We'll let people know what that is. We're going to do a special intro for that. We'll explain what it is. This endorso thing. We'll let people know what that is soon enough. It'll be part of the sponsors that you'll hear for the program. So we thank you for that. And lastly, or not lastly, we have Stephanie here as well. Steph, how are you?
I'm
What
good.
have you been working
on? Mainly I've been working on, like everyone else, editing mini-sodes also. I got to record an intro, which was fun for one of the episodes. And I just finished up the audio montage that will probably play in the beginning.
I think they're going to all like this. And I think everyone here is appreciative. And lastly, I forgot to bring up, we have the Christopher Morales here as well. Christopher, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty well. I did not know I was going to be here until very last minute, but very happy to be here.
So, Christopher, you want to share with the Thrive Loud community how you connect to our community?
Sure. I'm actually going to go to my bio over on Turnkey Podcast Productions. Go to turnkeypodcast.com. In fall 2017, Lou Diamond spoke to his class and was hiring interns for his podcast, Thrive Loud, as a Lou Diamond reject. That was the original title. I think it was the only one that was actually publicly stated to be, or at least that you actually communicated with and kind of said, don't really have nothing for you over here at Thrive Loud, but I got a couple of nice guys. And that would be Doug Sandler, Strickland Bonner. And it all comes around full circle, ladies and gentlemen, because I end up doing social media for Thrive Loud.
So this is true, ladies and gentlemen. He was the first person we ever had to reject from the intern program, mostly because he's too good looking, but also because he's made a whole career of being the social media saint and other things, helping out with Turnkey, and obviously now helping out our show, which is pretty cool. All the interns here, Alexandra, Sophia, Stephanie, and Elsie, are like, you're kidding. This is what happened, but this is true. That's on his bio, the Thrive Loud reject. Go ahead, Christopher. Good stuff, man. So I always like to have an episode like this, usually around this time of year, because we're in the holiday season of giving thanks and appreciating all those around us during this fun time of year. And these are the people that I appreciate the most. So let's learn a little bit about some of the folks here. So I'm going to make you guys the guests since you're now featured here. Let's start off with, I'm going to start off with Elsie here. Elsie, you want to share with the listeners where you're from and I know they're all Cornell University students, as many of you know. But let's hear a little bit about what you're studying, where you're from, and what your favorite movie is, Elsie. We're going to do that going around here.
Hi everyone. I'm Elsie, and my Chinese name is Xingran Wei, which is Wei Xingran. We put the surname in front. And I am from Shanghai, China, and I am a second semester freshman at Cornell. I currently want to major in psychology and maybe in full psych, but I kind of I'm struggling with the CS, so I'm thinking about it really seriously. And what's the last one? Oh, the favorite movie. I don't know, maybe Leon.
Really? Okay, we'll put that one in there.
I think it's aesthetic, and the image, the picture is just so nice. Yeah.
Elsie, the biggest challenge you've had in being an intern for Thrive Lab, the biggest struggle you've had to deal with, something you've worked on, a problem, an issue, share with the listeners something that was bothering you and bugging you in helping to put this amazing podcast program together.
I think I can actually think of two big problems. The first one is I am an international student, so kind of some cultural background I'm not that familiar with. So every time they kind of talk about a movie, I was like, what's that? I was just kind of a little bit out of the situation. So it's a little bit hard, but I'm kind of working towards it to kind of get those movies. And actually I've been recommended several good movies. I will kind of watch them during the break. And the second problem is maybe the technical issue. It's my computer is maybe too old for Audacity. So I kind of tried download several times and kind of work my way through it, but it's hard. Yeah, the process is hard.
The Thrive Lab listeners need to know that's the tool that we do they edit the episodes. And yes, there's been many text messages from the interns going, it's not working, with many, many exclamation points. I'm going to jump over to Alexandra right now. Alexandra, why don't you share with the listeners who you are, what you're about, and share what, not your favorite movie, maybe what is your favorite song that you like to listen to?
Okay, so hi, I'm Alexandra, and I'm a currently freshman in the College of Architecture, Art, and Planning, studying fine arts. And one of my favorite songs, I don't.
We're not going to make you sing it. I promise you. We're not going to make you sing any songs. No.
I'm currently really into Five Seconds of Summer, and I like their Young Blood.
Okay. I'm looking forward to you adding to that music playing underneath you right now. I'm just kidding. Okay, let's Stephanie. So share with us a little bit about yourself, what you're at here and what you're focused on. School, major, what you're interested in, all that fun stuff.
Sure. So I'm currently a sophomore in my first semester at Cornell, and I'm not officially in the agriculture school yet, but I'm working on transferring in from arts and sciences to study communication, because I think it's just really interesting, a topic, and probably minor in English because I love to write. Outside of school, I do like to cook and bake a lot. That's one of the main reasons I got my own apartment off campus, so I get a nice kitchen and cook for my friends and bake a lot, which is really fun.
You cooked for anyone on the Thrive Lab team yet this semester? Anyone?
Sophia and I were supposed to get together and cook or bake some sort of dish together, but we just never have.
Yeah, we were gonna were we gonna make apple pie?
Yeah, that's true. We were gonna bake a pie together for Thanksgiving, kind of for a Friendsgiving thing. So
you still have time. There's still a chance to do it.
Oh yeah, no. Before we leave, for sure.
I'm inviting myself over.
Yeah, sounds good. We live 4 minutes apart, so.
Okay, so Sophia, why don't you take the reins here and do the admin part for this part of the show? Explain who you are and what you've loved so much about working on the Thrive Lab program. We'll do that.
Sure. I'm Sophia. I'm a sophomore at Cornell. I'm a communication major and a Spanish minor. And what I have loved, I'm just really into podcasts. So I really enjoy being immersed in the world of a podcast. And I really like editing a lot. I think it's just a lot of fun.
So let's just go around here, and I'm going to jump into this because this is for a free for all for anyone who wants to comment on this. We're talking about the state of podcasting. I want to give you guys a little background here. I just spoke recently at a conference, and at that conference, I was asked to talk about where podcasts are going. And one of the interesting stats here, and you guys will like this, there are 700,000 podcast programs, and there are over 23 million episodes that are active. These are active podcasts that are going on out there, which is really difficult to figure out what to listen to. So what do you think what makes an interview show so interesting? And I'm free for all answer. Anyone can comment here. What is it about the way like our format works that makes people want to hear? Because interview shows continue to grow and be the forum that most people love to listen to on podcast programming.
I think
this is Stephanie. I can tell.
Give my personal opinion. Yeah. I think that a lot of it has to do with just like the conversational tone, at least in Thrive Loud, has always been it's like familiar and comforting. It kind of sounds not too formal. It's just like a friendly story that you're hearing. And for me, at least, I like, sometimes I'd like to like read a novel or something or learn about someone, but it's just hard to find the time to sit down with a book or magazine per se or something written. But when you have like a podcast on, even at the gym or anywhere, you just put in your headphones and you can hear all these like really amazing stories. And it's like, wow, like you can go about your daily life, but still have your earbuds in listening to all these people talk, which is really cool for me.
And, Christopher, you want to opine on this matter?
Yeah, I actually want to jump into that. So it's something that I certainly think is very trending as well. Going off of that comment, just conversations, that's really what they are. These interviews, they're just conversations, and these types of podcasts, a person just listening to that conversation, you really feel more connected to what's being said. If you listen to a podcast where it's just a solo host and they're just kind of, giving their monologue, it's one thing. I think if you give it with moderation, I would say, a good 5-10 minutes, I'll wholeheartedly listen to you out. You can get plenty of great content out in 5-10 minutes in just pure monologue. But once it starts going a little bit over, I think at this point, you're probably listening to some sort of preacher or really just somebody that you really, really have to have high confidence in, because otherwise I think people are going to kind of tune out. And I think the interview format, I think it's certainly worked for you. It's worked for a lot of entrepreneurs, especially. It's the way people feel more comfortable. And when they feel more comfortable, they're more likely to work with you. They're more likely to connect with you. And there's just a lot more you can get out of it.
I'm going to ask either Elsie or Alexandra, just who wants to opine here. When you guys have listened to these episodes, what is the part of the episode that connects the most with you? Is it hearing the journey or the story of the guest, or maybe getting to understand what's more personal about them? What's the part when you listen to and say, ooh, that was the most interesting part of that interview?
Well, for me, it's kind of like their personal connections, because when I listen to people's stories, like before they tell about themselves, I'm not really into like what they're talking about exactly until they share their own like personal like anecdotes of what happened to them and like how they're reflecting and why they're doing what they're doing now, like that. Because I remember just now I did the mini-sode for Cal Newport, like his experience of how he is concentrating. It's like a really interesting concept, and I was really into that.
Yeah, it's really funny. We're going to talk about that actually. The format of it was interns like yourselves that actually came up with the idea of the mini-sode. And that was that they loved little nuggets that would happen in the interview, like the story of how a guest came up with an idea or a certain concept, and we would just feature it and bring it back up. What's even more interesting is that people love those episodes. We have found that they started to listen to the mini-sode, and we provide the link to the original episode on the podcast page, and that episode gets a lot of play. Like they'll go back to the original. So they want more, which is kind of interesting, right? I always find it interesting if they didn't get a chance to listen to it.
Yeah.
What do you think, Elsie?
I think for me, it's kind of listening to what they have been through, like their struggles, their problems, and how they like give back to the thriving track. It's kind of like everyone will have like a down period of time and like just stuck in a problem, like maybe personal, maybe business, maybe like about family, and listening to their like thinking process and how they kind of change their perception or finding other resources to help them, or just kind of like a reflection moment. They kind of, oh, that's kind of what will lead me out of this trouble. Like that's kind of like very inspiring and sometimes feel resonated to them.
No, I'm totally on with this. Look, I sit in one of the best seats ever because I find it's a learning opportunity, and it might not necessarily be just a new technology or a new business or a new practice that someone's focused on. Learning from these thought leaders and leaders in their space, or people who are literally thriving, I feel incredibly spoiled because I'm just sitting there listening to these incredible journeys and stories and how they approach things. And you really, as a host or a listener, you really are benefiting from connecting with these really incredible individuals. I'll take this to our continued open forum here, jump ball, whoever wants it. Is there one particular message or thing that you've learned in an episode that you've been involved with editing or that you've listened to that still sticks out with you guys? Jump ball. Weep.
Sorry.
No, sorry.
Go ahead, Elsie. You could lead it off.
I'm thinking about the interview with Tom Thinger. Like during the conversation, he kind of talked about his experience to be a talk show leader. Is that like
he was on a game show?
Oh yeah, it's just like before he never tried kind of such experience and was kind of hesitate whether to grasp it or maybe like would just leave it gone because he never tried it and it's like not comfortable to step out of the comfort zone. But he kind of turned his mind like and think about maybe I can try this. Like, why not? It's kind of the idea of why not. Like in the daily life, every day, like when we are confronted with a new opportunity, like it's too easy to step back and say like, I will just be safe in my comfort zone. But sometimes just why not?
I like that. Why not? That should be the name of like a whole episode. I like that. Anyone else want to jump in? Things that they've learned, things that they've liked?
Yeah, I think that with the mini-sode I edited for Sue Bryce, first of all, just her accent, I just really like that we talked about it.
I know. I would literally want to bottle it up. This New Zealand Kiwi accent. It's ridiculous. And she lives in California. She just got married recently, which is kind of nice. So yes. So anyway, keep going, Steph.
Yeah, I just think it was a pretty inspiring story. I remember like going through it and I was trying to find the best like clips from it. And the snippet I chose was talking about how she deals with this money guilt, and she's a really amazing photographer. I mean, like, it's just like the problem of whether or not she wants to charge like $1,000-something for like a portrait, which I feel like is a relatable thing, not just in terms of like a job, but just kind of being too modest sometimes about what you do. And you can acknowledge that like you're a respected professional in your field, but still feel this kind of wavering like guilt about having to ask people to like give you money, and like having to, and the way she described it was just like to like tell them or ask them for their like respect. And it's just like an interesting kind of phenomenon I never thought about.
Yeah, I like how as a solopreneur, she hit this thing that she was getting in her own way, right? I always love that. And you find that when people navigate through that they can, avoid their fears and come, get through that thriving moment, whatever it might be. They've overcome something in their journey that's made them stick out and start to thrive. And one of the things we always try to decode, and everyone's got their own version of it. And, how it connects to you is different for everybody. Sophia, any favorites or things that stick out?
I don't know if I have any favorites, just because I just love them all, to be honest. But I think just in general, I'm really interested in hearing about people's career paths, like where they start and how they've gotten to where they are, just because as a college student, it's inspiring, especially when people say, oh, I didn't know what I wanted to do at first, and just the different paths they take. That to me is just really inspiring. And people just, I don't know, just in general talking about being passionate about what you do. I just love that.
So I'll go finish up the show here with a good little wrap here, which is something you want to see on Thrive Loud that we haven't done yet, or that you're looking forward to, or something different. Any one of you guys, everyone could go around, something new that you would like to see on the show. I was going to start with Christopher to see where this would go.
Man, I'm trying to think really, really hard. No, I mean, I think you're doing the interview. Your interviews are great, Mr. Ludami. You're doing great. I don't think there's any further change that needs to happen. I'm not saying this simply because you're one of my clients and that I think you're just doing great. No, but in all seriousness, I think, just to the earlier conversation of just the way that podcasts are going, I think a lot of people, especially through your show, I mean, for Turnkey Podcast Productions, you were basically your patient zero. You were kind of our guinea pig. And I think a lot of people are learning that a podcast can do so many wonders for people. And that's not only just, the long-term idea of, well, you can actually create some business by, expanding your network. But I think at the very forefront, the first immediate goal you can have is you really get to meet a lot of cool people. You get to connect with them. And that's why a lot of these stories that you've been able to go for nearly 400 episodes, it's phenomenal. And I think it's a huge congratulations to you and to your team from the current to the past day. It's such a beautiful thing to see evolve over time. And, I was actually on the previous question of, favorite episodes or anything like that. I was trying to scroll through and see who would I be able to pick out. And it was way too difficult. I think I would click on one page and it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to say that person, and go to another page and I'm like, wait, but that interview was great as well, or I really love their story. So yeah, congratulations. I think you're doing a fine job, sir.
Well, what a gentleman you are, Christopher. I've always liked his politeness, guys. And by the way, for those who can't see him, he's wearing a wonderful shirt and tie right now. No matter what hour of the day it is, he's always looking good. So, any other, before we wrap up, it's the holiday season that we're recording this, and let's do some holiday wishes for everybody. What are you hoping for the holiday season or for the new year? Let's go around here. Alexandra, things that you're looking forward to for 2020.
I want more sleep.
College student wants more sleep. We love this. Okay. Elsie, what do you want for the new year?
I kind of want not be struggling with my CS, and plus I want to be in one of the psychology labs at Cornell.
You want to be in the psychology labs, like as like to be studied, or?
No, like a research assistant.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Gotcha. You want to do the research assistant. You don't want to be in the labs themselves. Totally get that.
I have been the participants as well.
So, Sophia, what do you want for the new year? What are you wishing for?
Like Elsie, I also want to get involved in research, but in the communication department. And I also want to plan some traveling. I want to study abroad next year, so I want to plan that out in 2020.
And Stephanie?
I think for 2020, I want to be outside more. So the ski resort near Cornell, like 20 minutes away, just opened up. And I'm looking forward to probably getting in some skiing and snowboarding with friends, because that's fun.
And lastly, Mr. Morales.
Okay, I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm graduating next spring in May.
Crazy.
So I definitely would love to jump into the workforce, particularly in integrated marketing communications. And then the second thing that I wanted to cheat for is for the Los Angeles Football Club to win MLS Cup 2020, because I wholeheartedly believe we were cheated out of the championship for 2019 from terrible officiating from the Major League Soccer officials of the game versus Seattle. You know, don't at me, but if you do, it's at Chris23Morales. And otherwise, yeah, those are the two things that I really want to hope for next year.
We'll go LAFC. I'm rooting for you for next season. And I'll tell you this, I wish to continue to have amazing folks like you supporting the show. I want to wish all our listeners an amazing time and keep on listening, because this isn't just a pet project and a fun thing for me. This is truly my passion and what I love thriving each and every day. So thank you to the team, everybody. Thank you for this fun little gathering. And to all our listeners out there, happy holidays. And
Happy holiday!
And how do we end this show normally? What do we need to remind everybody to?
Right?
Why don't you try to coordinate it together here on 3? 1, 2, 3.
Right, be gone.
Be gone.
Yeah, okay. Be brief, be bright, be gone. We'll end it on that note.
Nice.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts and check us out on the web at thriveloud.com or follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at Thrive Loud.